Hello, my precious friends. I'm so happy to be back with you again, and I'm here in the kitchen of my dear friend Slayder Betts. We met at Meatstock 24,
24, yeah.
where he helped save the day because that was the year that I got COVID and completely collapsed. So if it hadn't have been for Slayder, I mean, Daniel was there, but
Daniel was a big help too.
yes,
Yeah.
but there was only one of you, and that, Anyway, so Slayder stepped in to save the day. Has been a chef, and he's a pastor now,
Yes.
and has written several books.
Yes.
You want to talk about your books for a minute or two?
Yeah, the book writing started a year ago, almost a year ago, when I was learning to process my grief from the passing of my wife, Brittany. And so far I've written 7 books, and they're all on my website, slayderbets.org. You can check those out, read about them before you want to make any purchases, and it's all on the website.
I haven't read them, I'm ashamed to say, but from what I can tell, from what I've seen, there's little previews here and there that you can find that are lovely. So make sure you do that. And he is quite a talented chef in his own right. Coming from me, that's a compliment. Anyway,
Absolutely.
so today we are going to show you the famous cornbread from Meatstock 26. He wound up making it as an afterthought and had several requests from the Meatstock Facebook page for a recipe, and I thought, well, why not just give the people what they want?
Why not?
And we'll show y'all how it goes. Okay, so let's get started. So we're going to be baking, and whenever we bake, we want to start with almost always a preheated oven. So
Absolutely.
Slayder's going to tell us what's going on over here.
So the oven is preheating at 325. You can do 350. It doesn't really matter in that range. If you're used to 350, use 350, but 325 is ideal. I have the oven preheating with my cast iron skillet in the oven.
Can you see the...
So my cast iron skillet is preheating with the oven. And you want to do that because we want to get a nice uniform color on the bottom of the cornbread. You can do it without it, and it'll still turn out really nice. But if you want that real professional look, that old Southern look to the cornbread, you'll want to preheat your cast iron skillet. This is a 10-inch that's in here. You'll want to preheat your cast iron skillet in the oven.
And the other thing that it does is, you ought to know, a Southerner don't care what it looks like as much as they care what it tastes like. And that hot skillet is going to give the bottom of your cornbread a really lovely crust. Now, when we're talking about baked goods that are made without starch, that crispiness of the crust can be a problem. And you can have, sogginess can be a real issue.
Yes.
And this will really help give your cornbread that real, genuine, crispy cornbread style crust, which you really, really want. I mean,
Yes.
Strictly speaking, can you do without it? Yeah, sure, but why would you?
No
And you
reason.
can also do this preheating trick with a glass Pyrex baking dish.
Yes.
If you don't have a cast iron skillet, okay? Just make sure you don't set it down on anything wet while it's hot.
Correct.
Right? Okay. So now we're gonna get into it.
Yes.
So here we are with all of our lovely ingredients, okay? And it starts with stirring together some dry ingredients. What's this?
This is 2 cups of heavy cream powder.
And where do you usually get that?
Amazon.
Amazon.
Yes.
Okay, any particular brand?
No.
Okay.
They all work the same.
They all work the same. This is
1 cup of buttermilk powder. Now you can get this at any grocery store on the dry milk aisle.
Yeah, I got some at Kroger. And it's not particularly expensive. So you had an interesting tip for people who want this to be as low carb as possible.
Yes. For the cream powder, you could swap it for milk powder, but the milk powder is going to have more carbs. I like to use heavy cream powder because it is lower in carb.
Okay. Did you ever do I didn't do it, but did you ever do a calculation about how much carbs per serving?
Per serving? I have it somewhere. I have to look it up real quick.
Well, you know what? We will get that information figured out, and it will, at the very least, be in the description.
Yes.
So, I heard you mention one time that you could use all heavy cream powder instead of using this.
Yes.
As well, which would make it even a little bit lower.
Yes.
In carbs than already. But this buttermilk gives a very, very cornbread-like flavor. So if you can spare the carbs in your own personal regimen, we highly recommend the buttermilk powder for taste.
Absolutely.
And then what's in over here?
So we have 3 tablespoons of egg white powder. We use this to help with structure so that your bread doesn't collapse. Many times we see the carnivore bread recipes.
It
they
looks
look
beautiful
nice
coming out of the oven, and then by the time you depan it,
so we need something, because we don't have starch in the recipe, we need something to help with the structure. So egg white powder is good for that. And then we also have a tablespoon of baking powder to give it a little lift.
Well, yes, it has to have some lift.
Yeah.
And then we have, what is that, 6 eggs?
6 eggs.
6 large eggs?
6 large eggs at room temperature.
Okay.
At room temperature works best. You can put them in there cold, but it's just going to be harder to stir.
It causes changes in the way the cream powder blends with the liquid.
Yes.
If it's cold. So for your own sanity, if you're just starting out, please let your ingredients come to room temperature, because you will have an easier time of it.
And if you don't have time to wait, you can just put your eggs in a bowl with some hot water and let them sit for a couple of minutes, and then that'll be as close to room temperature as you need to get it.
I figure maybe half a cup of hot water per egg right out of the tap, and just let them sit for 10-15 minutes, and you're good to go.
Yes.
And then
we have half a cup of water. That's just to hydrate the egg white powder. So you'll need that to, and it also helps with the liquid ratio to the powders to make it a smooth batter.
And it helps with dispersal of the other ingredients as well.
Yes. And then we have here pork panko. This will be stirred in or folded into your batter after everything else is mixed. And this gives it the cornmeal texture. Mm-hmm. So we just add this in there afterwards for that texture purpose. But you can omit it if you don't use pork panko. Right.
So this is a retail available pre-ground pork panko, but you can grind up your own pork panko. It doesn't matter the fineness. If you don't mind, chunkiness, you just grind it up the way you like it. It doesn't make a whole lot of difference.
Yes.
So that's what that is. Yes. And right here,
duck fat. I like using duck fat for this recipe. This is what you pour in your cast iron skillet or your glass dish. When you preheat your oven with the cast iron in it, I take it out. I add 2 or 3 tablespoons. You can be very generous of some kind of rendered fat, and then put it back in the oven. Gives it that nice fry and crisp like we were talking about earlier.
Absolutely.
But I like to use duck fat. You can use bacon grease, you can use tallow, you can use lard, any kind of animal fat that you like. You can use butter or ghee, better. But I like duck fat. The flavor is just good.
If you're ketovore, or if you specifically like the flavor of a plant-based fat like olive oil or coconut oil or avocado oil, or if that's just happens to be what you have, you could use any of those as well.
Any fat will do.
Any fat will do, even Crisco. Bleh, why would you?
Why would you do that?
But it would work, okay? So, it's like I don't tell people what to eat. I just tell them to think about what's going to happen if you eat.
When you eat it,
Yes, exactly. Alrighty. So let's get it's getting, as my grandma would say. Oh, right quick. We will need, just for your convenience, you can do this all with elbow grease if you must. But we're going to use an electric mixer. I would probably use my stand mixer if I was at home. But so you can use a stand mixer, you can use the elbow, the elbow attachment, or regular old household electric mixer. And you also want to need the most indispensable kitchen tool ever invented by mankind, the silicone scraper. Yeah. That is my opinion, bar none. I'm never without them. I have about 6 or 8 of them. And somebody asked me, what's your favorite piece of kitchen equipment? And anybody who knows me can answer on my behalf. It's this thing. Although I do have to say, Slayder, you want integrated ones. I always tell
I have those too.
I always tell, because this one's bougie looking, yeah. So we're going to use it for the purposes of bouginess. But I like completely integrated ones that are solid silicone from top to bottom, because you see this little edge right here, eventually stuff will collect in there, and eventually this top part will fall off.
Yeah.
It happens with all of them. I don't care how much you spend on them. And you can get the fully integrated ones for no more than you can get a decent one of these. So they're not expensive. And then for help in mixing in our panko, these things are designed to whip air into things, but they're also great for folding batter.
Yeah.
Excellent for folding batter. So, all right, now that we've talked about hardware, let's get started.
All right, first thing we want to do is very simple. We'll start with the 2 cups of cream powder, heavy cream powder, right into the bowl. 1 cup of buttermilk powder.
And we don't need to sift any of this.
No. It doesn't need to be sifted.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
The buttermilk powder tends to be hygroscopic, so it's
easy.
It's been sitting around. It's been sitting out in the. It's very humid today, and it's collected quite a bit of moisture, and it clumped up in the bottom of the bowl.
And that's okay.
That's okay.
All right. So here's the egg white powder and the baking powder.
I do like to warn people when I advise that they use egg white powder is please be careful not to get your egg white powder wet, because if you let drops of water drop in your egg white powder, they will immediately harden into impossible little BBs, and you will never ever get them out.
Yes.
You have to you will have to sift them out at that point. So, but as long as you keep your egg white powder scrupulously dry, you'll be fine.
I love that Patty is a walking dictionary. so I just take my whisk.
I am my family's dictionary. From the time I was like 12 or 13 years old, I was always, Patty, how do you spell da-da-da-da? I've often said that one of my superpowers is if I have seen a word spelled properly and I have heard it pronounced correctly, I can usually spell it.
Excellent.
One time. So that's my superpower, is useless as it is.
It's useless until it's useful.
That's true.
Yeah. So I just like to whisk it together, make it homogeneous. And so I wanted to use a dictionary word there.
Yes! Why say something monosyllabically when you can say it polysyllabically?
Yeah.
That's what I say.
So what I like to do in order to use the electric hand mixer, because you have all these dry ingredients, this stuff can just go everywhere if you're not careful.
And you do not want to inhale it.
You don't want to do that.
Do not inhale culinary powders of any kind.
Please.
You will regret it. Please take care. If you have to wear a dust mask, then you have to wear a dust mask. But please do not inhale powdered anything.
So what I like to do, I put all of my dry ingredients in first, and then I add all of my wet ingredients on top, because it creates like a barrier. So I'm adding all 6 eggs and half a cup of water. And and then it'll mix a lot easier without going everywhere.
You know what I like to do sometimes as well, I don't know if you do, but you can do this, is before I turn the mixer on, I stick it in there and give it a couple of
whirls.
Before you turn it on, and that just helps to get the
so we'll give it a couple of whirls.
Get the wet started, and then you have much less of a cloud.
Yeah.
There we go. Now I don't know if you can see it on the if you can see it on the video. There was a couple of little teeny poops coming up, but nothing like what it would have been.
You want to take over?
Yeah, because we sat you down in the wrong spot for the cord.
And just get it all incorporated nicely.
So I'm going to turn this off just briefly, and we're going to scrape down the sides. And maybe some people, well, anybody who's been watching me very long already knows, but if you, just in case you don't, scraping down sides is important because it is really amazing how much stuff can stick to the sides of a bowl. And if you don't scrape it down and get it emulsified into the mass, you can have textural issues, you can have bake-off issues, you can have all kinds of issues stemming from a change in the proportion of wet to dry ingredients from stuff being stuff from being stuck to the sides of the bowl. So bowl scraping, do not neglect. One more time. There is a naughty little pocket that has elected to be resistant.
But we will win.
We will. Because I'm bigger than you. Then what I'm doing here is I'm holding the beaters just above the surface and letting the thing run so it just flangs off all the extra to the sides of the bowl, and we don't lose anything because, as my cooking school head chef used to say, do you know what this is? This is margin. Sometimes that's all the margin you get in a restaurant. Yes. And if you're throwing away your margin, you're dead.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a relatively smooth batter. I am not mistaken in that it doesn't need to be completely smoothly blended. The odd little lump, as in most cornbread recipes, is not going to be a problem. So we're going to run this a second, holding it slightly above the mass of the batter in the bowl, and just let it run for a second to fling off all the extra. There we go. And it's also means that your beaters are less drippy.
Yes.
Which is always a plus. So now
scraping sides again.
Scraping sides, absolutely.
And at this point, we can add our pork panko.
We are going to add our pork panko.
And just fold it in.
Can you see it?
It doesn't have to be perfect. Just want to get it incorporated.
At this point, yes, you don't want to overmix it because you'll see where some gas bubbles will have started forming from the leavening. And that's because we have a two-stage leavener. It creates gas when it hits the liquid in the bowl, and then it'll create some more gas when we heat it up in the oven. But this initial lift is going to be real significant in producing a fluffy cornbread. Okay, we're back over here at the oven, and that's because this is about to go in the oven. So go for it. Now we're going to pull out our hot skillet.
Very hot.
Very hot. And we're going to put in about 2 tablespoons or so.
2 or 3. You want to be generous.
Okay, so you do you. We're going to do between 2 and 3 tablespoons. You do you. Yeah, more like a 1/4 cup, babe. But that's okay. Like I say, you do you. Be generous. Actually, can hold it. Can you see it? Here. Come closer, Slay. Up. There we go. You can see. Here, let me. Oh, there. You can see about how much there is in there. There's a nice little puddle.
Yeah.
And now, with everything nice and hot and sizzly, we're going to pour. Oh, it didn't sizzle.
Sometimes if you put it back in the oven,
we probably should have. We could have put it back in the oven for about 5 minutes, but we fiddled around showing you how much oil. It cooled off a little bit. You do want to sizzle. If it doesn't, it will crust up once it's in the oven. It will, even if it doesn't sizzle very loud. So get all that out of there.
Yeah,
margins. Margins.
You want to get it all.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with scraping. It's really, as far as I'm concerned, it really is obsessive at this point. Okay, so how long are we going to cook this?
25 to 30 minutes.
25 to 30 minutes. So we're going to set a timer?
Yep. I remember my timer.
All right, so we're going to check it at 25 minutes. And how do you generally tell if it's done?
There's a couple ways.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the traditional, take a toothpick, poke it in the center. If it comes out clean, it's ready. Or just a gentle press. You want a little spring back when you press it. If you press gently and it goes through, it's not ready. But if it gives you a little resistance, you know it's ready.
So it tests done pretty much the same way regular cornbread tests done. Okay, that makes things easier.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, friends, our timer just went off.
Yes.
And we're gonna take a peek. Oh, it smells divine in here. Gonna take a peek, and ooh, look at that.
This is good.
Look at that. Yummy, yum, yum, yum. Let's come over here and show the, back up a little bit. There we go. Look at there. Here, can you, you probably can't tip it up too far. There's still little pools of fat bubbling around the edges, and the edges are going to be so crispy and delicious. Raise it up. I'm sorry. Raise it up a little bit. There we go. Look at that here. I'm going to, looky there.
I wish you could smell it.
I do wish you could smell it, because it is divine. Okay, go ahead and set that down, Slayder. And then, about how long do you usually cool it before you slice it up?
You gotta at least give it 5-10 minutes.
5-10 minutes, yes. Because at this point, the crumb will not be entirely set. And this is something that is true for, like we were talking about, baked goods without starch.
Yes.
Starch forms a type of gelatin which stabilizes the structure. All baked goods that are leavened are basically a stabilized foam. It's basically what they consist of. And when you have the starch, once it's gelatinized in the heat, it's gelatinized and it stays that way. So you can cut into a warm piece of bread, and it won't completely flatten. It will compress a little bit, but these types of mixtures with no starch, you have to let them cool a little bit because there is a transformation in the fats and proteins as they cool, which will make the bread more stable, and you'll have better loft if you don't cut into them too soon.
Yes.
Okay, our cornbread has cooled just enough. I guess we let it sit about 15 minutes.
Yep.
And we're gonna slice some up and put some butter on it, and then we're gonna taste it, and we're gonna tell you whether it's good or not. I already know, but go ahead.
You want like a slice or a square?
I don't care. Suit yourself, dear.
Let's go with the square.
Make squares.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay, I'm gonna bring this over here. There we go,
Did you see
friends.
the bottom?
Can you see? We're gonna show you the bottom. Look at that. You can see the texture and all that lovely duck fat just soaked right up in there. I can see it glistening in the light. And look at the crumb. Does that not look like cornbread? Yum. Me. Okay, now we're gonna put some butter on and then we're gonna taste it. Here. Here, just
Stand in here.
split, we're gonna split that.
Beautiful. Nice cut.
Okay, now the knife is hot and the butter's gonna go slithering off onto that. I just wanted to get this over here. You see it? Oops, it did slither off.
Oh, look at that.
Mmm, yummy. Okay, so. Here you go, honey.
Thank you.
Don't worry, cameraman, we'll get you and say it. Mmm.
Yeah.
So, this is the famous cornbread from Meatstock 26. If you were there, if you know, you know. And if you don't, you need to try this because this is awesome.
Beautiful.
And Slayder made us some chili to go with it.
Yay.
And maybe I'll talk about that in my next video. Okay? Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Slayder, for having us here. And I bid you peace, love, and meat. And I will talk to you again very soon.